quarter pounder,
Yeah.
double quarter pounder. That's the magic.
Oh, I love the quarter pounder
Oh,
as
dude,
is.
dude. Oh my God! Get excited. Get
Because I honestly do think about this McDonald's.
like I
Um,
had it. There was one week where I was like, oh man, like did they change cooks or something? Like what happened here? What's going on?
uh,
Like it wasn't bad. It just wasn't there. And then we went back, and I was like, "Yes, he's back. They're back. Whoever it was must have went on vacation because they're back and at it." Let's get into
okay.
it. So today I want to talk about a couple of things that we've been playing, and then also we will get into the Silent Hill event that happened yesterday. Right? That was
Hmm.
yesterday. Yep. So I do want to talk. I do want to bring up. I do want to bring up something before we start talking about our main game today, and that's a little game known as Marvel Snap. This was I forget when this was revealed. I think it was revealed at like a D23 or so, like some Disney event. Um, and it's a card game for mobile, and I believe it's on Steam as well. Um, and I've been getting into card games. Well, I guess I've gotten to one card game pretty heavily in Legends of Runeterra. And I saw this one come out. I was like, oh, this'll be pretty good. But there was a beta period for it on the on Android, and then it just launched last week. This week, I think it was last week. I think it was last Friday or maybe even Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, it
But
was recent.
yeah, but it's really fun, and these games go by extremely quickly. Like I would say, you're done with these games in 2 or 3 minutes, because there's only ever 6 rounds. That's it, and instead of like health, you have power. And you're trying to stack these locations with cards, and then whoever has the most power, like the best 2 out of 3 on those locations in regards to power, wins. Uh, but each card is very different. They each have their own like abilities and stuff like that. But the interesting mechanic is the snap mechanic, where up above there is I don't think they call it the tesseract, but it definitely looks like a tesseract, and you can click it, and then you're essentially doubling down, right? You're like, I know for a fact I'm going to win this game because of what I have in my hand, or how like these locations are playing out so far, because each location unveils itself every turn. So you get a location at the first turn that does something different, location on the second turn that does something different, and location on the third that does something different. So if you are fully confident that you're going to win this game, you can snap, and then you all of a sudden double your rewards. If you're on the opposite side of that, you can retreat and get out and only lose 1 instead of losing 2 if you do lose. Or you can double down and you can call their bluff, if it is a bluff, and then you can snap. And then when you snap, then those rewards are doubled, but your losses on both sides are like they're it's much greater than if you were to retreat or just lose the game, period. So there comes a lot of back and forth with some strategy in there. And the heroes that it gives you at the beginning are a lot of fun. You've got like Iron Man, who is a 5 cost. There's 6 rounds. 5 cost, you drop Iron Man, and all of a sudden he doubles the power on a location. So he's a good finisher. You've got the Hulk, who is just a 6 cost. That's just 12 power straight up. You've got Ant-Man. You've got a bunch of like smaller, or not smaller heroes, but a bunch of the more like vanilla type characters. Um, and it does a good job of easing you in. I will say I really actually hate the way that you get cards, which is like the one thing that I do think would detract me from playing the game anymore, is because you've it's all about currencies really, and you've got these currencies that you have to use to upgrade your cards to like a different border or a different like a 3D card. And as you upgrade them, you get more you get like a collector bonus, like a collector level, and you go up this chart and it starts giving you cards, and then it starts giving you random cards, which is fine, but there's no way to see every card in the game. So like there's no like collection or anything like that. Like every card that you have is what you can see in the game unless you see other cards being played. So that's kind of baffling. That's kind of a weird decision to me to like not show you every single card in the game and what you're missing, because I mean there's so many cards. This game is going to take forever to like fill out everything, and then when it does, there's no actual like organization, so it's going to be a mess. And I do think like if I did stop playing, that would be the reason why, just because getting the cards it's so annoying. But the actual game, when you're in it, it's super super fun, super quick, and yeah, I'm just having a really good time with it, and I knew I would, but just kind of reaffirmed what I was already thinking. And like there is a battle pass and stuff like that. There always is for everything now, and it's like okay, whatever. And I guess that there was like an event during beta that was just like super super money hungry, but they came out was like, yeah, we're not gonna do that again, because that was pretty messed up, because it was in a beta. Like it was in a beta, and they were like, okay, here's a Black Panther event, which you have to spend like $300 to get the Black Panther card or something like that. Ridiculous. But they're smart enough and they're reactive enough to be like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that ever again. So we're only gonna focus on the battle pass, which whatever. And from what I know, the battle pass is like entirely free. I don't know, but it's like at that point, why even have a battle pass? Why not just make it part of your progression? So I don't know how that works, but yeah, I am enjoying my time with Marvel Snap.
That's good. I do like bluff games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like the other person obviously doesn't know if like what you have is actually going to finish them off, right?
Right.
So if they don't want to lose their ranks, then get out of there. But if you can call somebody on their bluff, then you can absolutely destroy them, and then the other person on the other side of it's like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. But yeah, it's fun game.
Very nice.
The big kahuna we're going to talk about this week is something that we sort of touched on 2 weeks ago. By that point, you hadn't played it yet, but you've gotten some time. I think like 5.5 hours is what I saw on Steam.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. It sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. I'm at I got 10 hours now. We're talking about Neon White.
Neon White. So I think we brought it up. Mm-hmm. I don't think that was one of my have to play this right away games at the time. Mm-hmm. But life kind of coalesced in a way where it just made sense. So I got a Steam Deck, came in, big fan of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can talk about that as well.
We can talk about it a little bit. I mean, I had like a weekend burst where I had my Steam Deck and I had Neon White, and I fell in love. But then something else caught my eye. Mm-hmm. I haven't played too much since then, but that's okay. That's a different story. But no, that came in and I thought, well, shoot, I'm gonna get Neon White, because what had happened is, I mean, I had heard, I think, Glass Ocean from the soundtrack a while back.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is killer. This is great.
Oh yeah.
And then I went and listened to other Machine Girl stuff, and then the Neon White soundtrack came back up in my queue, and I think at that point I was just like, screw it. Yeah, I was like, screw it. I'm gonna listen to this whole thing and see what else is on here. And then I listened to the whole album, and I kept listening to it. And it's like, I'm gonna play this game.
Yeah, I mean,
I gotta play this game like really soon.
Yep.
And so I did, and 5.5 hours later, in perfecting, I think, the first 3 worlds.
Oh yeah.
I adore this
It's
game
amazing. Like
from top to bottom.
seriously amazing.
Yeah, like it feels all like obviously when you say like what's a game made exactly to your taste,
Right.
that answer is going to be different depending on the day.
For sure.
But this feels like an answer to that question on one of those days, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
everything from like the level design to the platforming and how it feels to
Mm-hmm.
move around, how it
Mm-hmm.
feels to just kind of like snap a shot and like chain your movement. And they're like, to get some of the times you have to like do these skips, or you have to like make these like offhand shots
Yep.
while you're like you keep moving
Like from
forward.
far
And like
away,
that's the thing.
you have to anticipate. Because like going through the level the first time is always super super fun, because you're like, okay, how, like what's the lay of the land here, and then you get gold, right, and you're like, no 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 no, that's
Yeah.
that's not how that's not how this game works. I'm going for the platinum or diamond or whatever rank it is, and then
Right.
that's when the real beauty of the game starts, because then the levels, instead of becoming these like just a platformer, it starts becoming a puzzle. Like, how do I finish this to get the highest rank, right? So sometimes you
Right.
have to anticipate, because the game is like it's super low poly, right? Like it's not going to blow your mind when it comes to graphics or whatnot.
Right.
So you're able to see the entire level as you're going through it for the most
Yes.
part. So
Very clean.
it's
Very clean look.
extremely clean. So you're able to anticipate by looking at it. Okay, that's where I'll end up. Oh, there's something that I can shoot from the very beginning of the level to blow that up, so that I don't even have to go there and I can just skip to the end, right? Like that's when things start really coming together, and like, oh my god, like not only are there shortcuts that they have here, but there's probably shortcuts that they like didn't plan out, right?
Mhm.
So like that's when I think like the level design starts becoming top notch, is when
Right.
it gets to that second stage.
And I will say I'm glad that like the platinum times feel reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to play the game like perfectly to get those times.
No.
But they're like they're like in this perfect middle ground where it's like it's tough, but like it never feels like so far out of reach that I'm like, I give up.
Right.
Like I can't do that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't be trying to do it every single time. You know.
Like it has because whenever it comes to like collect it, like I don't, it's pretty much a collectathon, but instead of collecting, I mean there's some like collectible items like the gifts, right?
Yeah.
But like
Right.
instead of collecting like a bunch of items, you're just like trying to collect the best times,
Yeah.
right?
No. Yeah.
And it's like
It's a time attack. It's a time attack for sure.
yeah. Part of me feels like I think because I think when I had gotten to World 3, I'd already cleaned up the previous worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up spending like just 2 hours or so in one world just focusing on that. And
Yep.
part of me thinks maybe I should kind of play it casually at first and then go back to catch everything.
See,
but it's hard to do
Yeah.
because you just get so hooked on getting the best times that it's hard to move on.
I after the first level, when they were like, oh, there's a better time. There's a better time that you can get. After the first level, after me going and getting the platinum time, I was like, I'm not going to move on until I get these platinum times, and I haven't. I do not move on to the next level until I get that platinum time. And it's like I think the game does something smart where every medal that you get gives you something else in the level, right? So like if you get gold, then all of a sudden you can see your ghost, right? Or you can see like an icon for the for the shortcut. So whenever you get gold and you see that happen, you're like, okay, well, now I can just mess around in this level and try and find this. It's like this weird like UI way of doing hot dogging to make you play the level again.
Right. Yeah, and it's like every rank like will just give you more stuff to find, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's very hard for me to play it casually, which I feel like basically never happens in a
Mm-hmm.
game.
Right.
Because I've always I consider myself more casual when it comes to playing a game,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like there some very rarely you'll get a game like this where it's like the hook is to like play it perfectly
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah.
and I just can't let go.
No.
And part of me is like, I feel like this game is going to take me 20 hours
Uh,
because I'm just going to be stuck.
yeah. Yeah. And I will say that I think that attainability, it never goes away. Like, I think at maximum, well, I don't know. At maximum, probably like 20 tries on a level. But that's the thing, is like I am on world 7, I think. I think I either just got done with world 7 and I'm on 8, or I just started 7. I don't know. But like 10 hours in, yeah, the attainability of those never goes away, because the game does such a good job of like easing you into mechanics, and
Mhm.
so that like by the time you get to world 7, like you're pretty seasoned, like you are pretty good at this game. And it's almost like riding a bike. Like sometimes I would go, because when we had talked about it before, uh, I, I honestly don't remember the last time that I had played it. But once I started playing it again, it's like riding a bike. You're right back in it. You know how to do everything, because there's like you can play the game with just WASD and the mouse and nothing else. Like, it's so simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I don't know if, I guess you said you haven't really done much of the side quests,
No, I
right?
haven't.
But but yeah, like then the side quests kind of flip the game on its head and it becomes a different beast. And those are also super fun. And it's like that also made me think like I need to keep getting these gifts, because you unlock the side quest by finding the gifts, right? And then you give them
Right.
to the different neons. And then I guess without really giving it away, it just some abilities get taken away and some abilities are like the only things you can use, and
Fun.
every neon has a different style to it. Um, and those levels are also just extremely fun in their own right.
Yeah.
Um, but I think before I played the game, I saw a video about it. I didn't watch it, but I saw the title and I knew it was a Neon White video. And it's like, this is the game that wants you to speed run it. And I think in
Yeah.
my head, I had this idea of like, oh, this game is going to be just like ridiculous.
Right. Like
Um,
ridiculously hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
where it's like, and it would be the kind of game where it's like, if I can't do it, then it just eats away at me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, and it's like, this isn't to say that the game is like easy,
No.
because it's not super easy. It's just it's very simple,
Right.
and like you said, it is like riding a bike. It's just so natural,
Yeah.
where it's like once you're in it, you're in it, and you keep trying until you figure it out and
That
you just make it through.
that's another thing too, is like the game puts you in such a weird like flow state, to which like everything around you just suddenly stops, and like the only thing you're focused on is this game and like this level and everything.
Yeah,
Like I don't remember the last time like playing a game where like I'm so focused on something that I get up, and like you're just so honed in on everything else, you don't care what's going on around you. You're just so into it, and it puts you into that flow state. And once you're at a level and you finally do get like that platinum or gold or whatever, you just finish it, you just feel so relieved. And then it's so quick, you're just in the next one immediately, and then you're
yeah.
right back in it.
And it does that Meat Boy thing of like
Mm-hmm.
quick restarts, music
Yep.
keeps going even through the levels, like because that's such a
Mm-hmm.
huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this mental trick where it's like as long as the music keeps going, it feels like the game just doesn't stop.
Right. Right.
And I mean, shoot, I mean, we already kind of talked about the music,
Oh, yeah.
but the music is such a huge part. Like it's really like it goes beyond just playing the game,
Mm-hmm.
because like it's the aesthetic, it's the music, the soundscape of it all,
Yep.
and it's like even like the visual novel scenes are just kind of like connective pieces. I
Right.
guess you could say it's the weakest part, but it's not bad. It has like that like emo scene feel to it, right? I
Yeah.
guess
It
that.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's fun. I think it's fun.
I do too. Like legitimately, I think it's I think if you're fine with like Danganronpa, like this is right there, you know? Like
I mean,
it
obviously,
reminds me of Danganronpa.
yeah. I forget. There was one scene in particular that like maybe it was the bar. Maybe it was like the. It might have been
Oh
like
yeah, when you go down, yeah.
not even what happens in the bar, but just like that setting. I don't know what it was that like made me like really feel like I was playing like Danganronpa for like 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But like as a connective tissue, I like it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
It fits. Character designs are great.
yes.
Did you know that this was made by the person who made Donut County?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
okay.
God, I'm blanking on his name now.
Ben Esposito.
Ben Esposito. Thank you. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
I didn't realize that so very recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's very good at these little bite-sized games. Well, this was not really bite-sized, but
kind of it's weird because like it kind of is, but it chains together to where it doesn't feel like a bite-sized thing. Because like you said, like that like flow like state where it's like it's so rare for like a game to just grip me to the point where like I can't put it down.
Right.
Which is what happened with this.
Oh yeah.
It's just like I guess it says I've only played it for 5 hours, but it really felt like I was playing this game for like 10 hours straight.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Once you're in, it's so hard to let go. It's so hard. Like what I've been trying to do was like an hour a day or a world a day, pretty much, and that's each world getting through has been like I'd say probably like an hour and 15 minutes. So it's you can definitely do it. I haven't played it for a little bit, but like I said, like once you get back in it, you're rocking and rolling already. Like you're good, you're set.
Yeah, no, yeah, I have been. I've been, like I said, life finds its distractions or other things take my time, but
right.
I still think every time I look at the Steam Deck, I'm like, oh, I gotta play it.
It's your neon white machine.
Well, for right now it is, yeah. But I think part of it too is like it's the kind of game where it's like I know once I start playing, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Another good thing that it does as well is it introduces mechanics, entire worlds are essentially based around like one mechanic, right? Like one new mechanic, and then it starts incorporating the other mechanics that you've learned from previous levels into it. But at its core, it's still each world is still focused on the mechanic that it introduced, right?
Yeah, and I mean I gotta say too that the mechanics are all super fun.
They're so much fun. At first I was weirded out by like, or not at first, but when it was revealed, I was weirded out by the card system, right? Like if you are weirded out by that card system, it's really not a card system at all. Like
it's a power up system.
It's a power up system. It's a pickup. It's in like it's just I feel like it's just presentation that makes it a card system, right? Like
I think, and I mean I could be mistaken because I haven't gone like super in depth on like the development of this game. I feel like I read that like originally it did go a lot harder on like being like a deck-based action game.
Mm-hmm.
But then like the more that they played around with it, the more that they realized like maybe this is too much.
Yeah.
Maybe this game is better if you just kind of simplify this down to being more of a power-up system.
Yeah. And I don't know.
I do like the cards from like a visual standpoint.
Oh yeah, it makes it very easy to know what you're picking up just based off of the color. And what it's gonna do,
and then the discards and I mean it works ammo. As a power up system because like you can stack the cards,
right?
Like it works as like a card based system, but it's not like you have to like build your deck and you have like a deck of like 10 different power ups and you have to like mentally handle. Maybe in the later game it gets crazier. I don't really know.
I don't think so because that's another thing too is that like because of the like each color is different, right? And it corresponds to a specific ability or whatnot. Like you don't even have to even really look at what you have in your hand. You can just like in your periphery see, okay, it's a blue card. I know exactly what this is. right?
Right.
It's not even like you're not even like paying attention to the card as much as, oh, I remember I picked this up then, and the game does a good job of saying, like the game does a good job of giving you creativity with what you have, while also saying this is what you should do. Like we
Yeah.
gave you this card here so that you could do this here, but if you wanted to do this, you probably could if you actually like tried your hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another thing too with like the world design, I guess the level design mainly, is that it does the pacing. I think is extremely good because there are some levels where it will throw like 30 or 40 enemies at you, and then the next level could be mostly a platforming level, right? Where there's only like 12 at that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's fun because even though the mechanics are the same, the levels are different so much that like one level could take a minute and a half, and the next level could take 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's always fun. I think that's another thing too that makes it so much fun to keep going forward, is because you're like, okay, what kind of level is this going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, and I mean, before moving on from the deck comment too, like I will say, I feel like when the game most excels in like deck building, because what was I gonna say? Like the gifts, the puzzles is when like it feels like you do have to consider like what's my deck? I have to collect cards because there's a couple gifts where it's like you need to like have the right set of cards. You have to hold on to some cards, and
Okay.
like there are some levels where like you do have to consider it's like how am I picking these up?
Interesting.
I need to make sure I don't use this card on this guy because I'm going to need it later to get a gift.
Right.
So there is.
Do you have to finish the level after you pick up a gift?
No, once you pick up the gift, it's done.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that was one thing that I was gonna go back and do after I finished the game, was get all the gifts.
Right, and yeah, but I think that's just to speak more to just the versatility of the game.
Oh yeah,
to where it's like it is like just like it could be just like a fun like first person platformer. Mm-hmm. It becomes a speed game, or it becomes like a puzzle platformer where you have to like use the mechanics to find different things. And I mean, even the speed running is a puzzle platformer in its own right. Like that's the thing. Like just as a platformer,
it's
like as a platformer,
it feels
lover,
so good.
It's amazing. It's fantastic.
So good.
It's like it feels like a Mario game almost. Where, well, maybe not. Maybe Mario is the wrong example, but just in terms of like, here's the level, here's the objective, go finish the level,
right?
And like figure out what's the best way to maneuver this level,
right?
It's fantastic. Like everything about like it just feels,
yeah,
just I don't know. Flawless is a big word. A huge word. Maybe not flawless, right? But it's extremely solid.
Yeah, I think my only criticism against the game isn't even something that I don't like, and it is like the story or the writing or whatever, right? Like I feel like that could be a pretty big turnoff for some of these people when like yellow comes in and he's like, "Whoa, what's up, bro?" And it's like, "Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah. I'm fine with that," but somebody else is probably like, "Ugh, what kind of writing is this? I'm going back to playing Marvel Spider-Man by Insomniac Games."
Yeah, maybe. But then it also lets you skip everything, right?
It does.
And that becomes a personal problem.
Right, yeah.
Well, not that you shouldn't criticize the story just because you can skip it, but it's like, I'll say it should not be a deterrent, because if you really hate it, then it does not need to affect you at all.
Definitely. And yeah, by the end, I think at the end of the game, like I will, like, it's going to be up there for Game of the Year, like very, very highly up there. It's so good.
Like obviously, I still need to play Xenoblade, but it's like part of me is thinking it's like, this is big, but it's like I don't even know if like Xenoblade could do it.
I know.
Like Neon White is so it's so up my alley.
Yeah.
In like every way.
I know.
And it's just so fun and fluid, and like the soundtrack is amazing. Like aesthetically, like, and before you even talk about the gameplay, just like the package it's wrapped up in,
Right.
everything about it is just so good.
Right. Yeah. And I think, yeah, when you do, like, for Game of the Year discussions or whatever, I think when you do put, at least for me, when you put, like, Neon White up against Xenoblade, is that, like, even if Xenoblade comes out on top of, like, the other games, like, there are still some things about Xenoblade that I'm a little disappointed in. But, like, with Neon White, like, I have not been upset, angry. I haven't been mad about any of the decisions in the game. Like, it really is like this. Out of every game that I played so far this year, like, this is the closest to a 10 that I played.
Yeah. No, it's
insanely good.
It's like that. Like, I mean, I guess for me, like, I can't really think of a single flaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like obviously it's like, yeah, sure, the story could be better, maybe the characters could be better, but they're not bad.
Yeah,
right?
No,
so
yeah,
it's like,
they're not bad.
Is it really flawed if it's like just fine and funny even?
Right.
I've laughed a couple times.
Yeah, no, there are definitely times that I've laughed. Like, what's the
voice acting is great.
Yeah, it is. Too. It is really good. What's the orange cat's name? The guy with the glasses. He's a cool cat. It's a very mundane name.
It is a very mundane name.
Tom?
Mikey.
Okay. Yeah. And then what's Spike's voice actor's name?
He's Neon White. I don't think he has.
But, like, what's his real name?
In real life? Oh, Steve Blum.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Yeah, everybody's good.
Oh, yeah.
And the story does pick up. Like, I will say, the story does pick up. It gets interesting.
I will say that too, or it's like, I mean, I don't think I was going to bring it up, but, like, in the back, I do remember, like, around where I had, dropped it off, I was like, there's something here.
Did you do the boss fight yet?
There might be something here. No.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it's like, it's like, I guess even before something like that, I'm thinking, like, this is building up to something.
It is. Like, yeah. Definitely.
There is something more. So it's like, shoot, maybe by the time I beat the game, I'm like, no, this game genuinely had a great story.
Right. I know. I think right now it's more so just like it's intriguing right now, and it is starting to pick up. So I'm very curious to see how this game ends. Very curious to see how this game ends.
I once I'm back in the mood. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a focus until I kind of get to the end.
Right. And the thing is like, even if you aren't in the mood to play a video game, it's just one of those games that, if you did just start playing it, you're not going to stop.
Yes. Yeah. It's just, it's so smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It is unbelievably smooth. I feel like that's like the best thing I could say about a game. Like, it's when it's like smooth to play, that you can pick it up and just go.
Yep. Yep. That's how I feel about Ollie Ollie. Like those two games are definitely up there for me, like, this year at least. And I do think that they are similar in that, like, they are just so easy to pick up and play, and
hard to master.
Right? Hard to master, and they're both quick. Like, there's a connection between both of these games. You can do that quick restart and just be back at the beginning of the level, like, immediately, right? Like, it's just that. It does respect your time in that regards.
Yeah.
And that, it motivates you to want to keep trying because of how quick it is. And it's like, you don't have to finish the level to restart it, and it's perfect. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is great. Neon White will be back. I'm sure Neon White will return.
100%.
Friggin' awesome. So yesterday we had the Silent Hill event, and geez, there was quite a lot to reveal. I didn't watch it, but I know pretty much everything that got revealed. I don't have too much stock in the Silent Hill series, but I know a lot of this stuff is pretty interesting. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat where it's like my experience with Silent Hill goes as far as playing a couple hours of 2 a
Hmm.
couple Halloweens ago.
Hmm.
Um,
Which is coming
that's
back.
which is
That was
back.
one
We're
of
back.
the big things is that Silent Hill 2 is being remade by Bloober Team, who did The Medium and Blair Witch, and there's another one on
Layers of Fear.
Layers of Fear. Yeah, Layers of Fear, Layers of Fear.
A bunch of horror
Yeah, a
games.
bunch of your yeah.
Which, I mean, beyond, I'm always gonna be a cynic with remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Always,
Yeah.
almost always, not always, but most of the time. Um, I feel like especially with what I've heard of Silent Hill 2 in particular, I don't think a remake is what I would play.
Right.
Unless well, even then, it's like it's not going to replace the original whenever I do get around to
Yeah, they'll
finishing
be
it,
so
right?
different.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I can't be too mad,
Right.
like it is what it is. They're remaking Silent Hill 2. I hope it turns out well.
Oh
Obviously, I
yeah.
don't want the game to be bad. Um, but I mean, it's been rumored for years. I feel like at this
Yeah,
point,
it
it's
definitely has. This is a PS5 exclusive, yeah?
for a year.
Oh,
Well, it'll
okay.
be on PC day one
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
but
PC as well. Yeah.
console exclusive for a year. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I hope it turns out well. It sounds like they're not really going to be changing the story too much, which is
Good.
probably for the best
Yeah, that's good.
because considering that, it's one of the
That's
most, I
the
guess,
game's
beloved
draw.
stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh, yeah, I mean, that's about it. I hope they do a good job. I hope they do justice.
Hmm.
I think there was a lot of trepidation given Bloober Team. They were very
Hit or miss.
divisive
Yeah, because
developer
I
for
think
a lot of people.
the latest game was the medium, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and
which
that one there's definitely some discourse to be had about that one, and
yeah,
it's a weird uh
yes,
story.
absolutely. Uh,
That's all I'm gonna say, because if you get into it anymore, there's some controversial stuff in that game. Let's just leave it at that. The next thing that was one of the other things that was revealed during this was Silent Hill F. You hear about this one? You still with me? You still with me, pal?
which is the one
Oh yeah,
from
you're
the
back.
Higurashi writer.
Yes.
Oh, was I gone?
Yeah, you were gone for a little bit, but that's okay.
Oh,
Only
I
for like
apologize.
15 seconds. Yeah,
That's
Silent
okay.
Hill
Well, I
F.
mean,
Yeah, coming
yeah,
from the yeah, When They Cry visual novel series.
yeah. That's another one that's been on the back burner for many a year.
Mhm.
But
Lucky for you and lucky for me, the developers are the Resident Evil Reverse people. So
what was that? What was their name? No Code, or was that? Because that's the thing. Is like, nah, they announced so many games. That was
yeah,
the biggest takeaway for me. Is like I knew that there was a show. I forgot about it, and then I checked the newsletter. And it's like, how much stuff did they announce?
right. There
There
was
was a ton.
so much. Sorry, yeah, there was so much revealed here. But yeah, this one in Neo Bards.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, Neo Bards. Yep, they're doing this one. And yeah, it should. It's different. It's interesting because it's set in 1960s Japan, which could be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different. Um, I mean, Silent Hill like always seemed like a franchise. Like, there's actually a good video I watched. I think it was from someone who actually cares way more about Silent Hill than I do,
Mm-hmm.
right? But he was kind of going on about what is the point of making a new Silent Hill? Like, why not just make something new?
Oh,
Maybe that's getting into a weird tangent, right? I guess long story short is like Silent Hill as a franchise feels like you might as well just do something new and different with it, right?
Right.
Um,
No, I would agree. So I think that this, 1960s Japan could be pretty neat to do this, to do a
it's a horror game in
game.
general.
Yeah, because I
You
mean we
know,
haven't
well,
really had that. I guess the only thing that you could even like compare it to, it's not even 1960s, is fuck, oh my god, what is that game that just came out this year? Oh,
Ghostwire.
yeah, Ghostwire. In that it's like I feel like we're actually going to the big municipal zones of Japan, which I think this one's going to take us in, but we'll see.
Yeah.
About
Yeah. I
no,
mean, it's hard to really. Again, because you kind of get back to like I'm not a super big Silent Hill fan. I just love.
right.
I guess people have been asking for it for forever, and
Yeah.
they listened.
Yeah, and then
Sure
another
listened.
one was Silent Hill Townfall, which this one is from the I don't know this studio, No Code Studios. I know the games that they did, Observation and Stories Untold, which are more like ARG type of games. Like they're not ARG, but like the actual game themselves sort of are similar to Immortality, where they're not your conventional video games for sure.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I mean,
yeah,
I think that's my big take. I mean, there's still one more game.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess this isn't really about Townfall in specific. I mean, most of these games are kind of just like teasers rather than like anything to really like
Absolutely,
chew on. So, but I think my
absolutely,
main takeaway from a lot of these announcements is that, not necessarily like free reigning the series,
right,
but kind of just like giving it to people with like a history of making like good horror games and just saying, hey,
yeah,
here's Silent Hill.
because Konami's never gonna
Just
do it.
right. Well, I mean, I'm not. I don't want to start getting into a tangent about Konami. I don't really super hate Konami. I haven't in for a while. But this feels like them being like, hey, we don't really have the developers to make a Silent Hill game anymore.
Right.
But, you know, here, like they're acting almost like shepherds now, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you make a Silent Hill game and we'll sign off on it.
Yeah, just outsourcing IP essentially.
Yeah, which for them and with Silent Hill, I think makes the most sense.
No, it does. Yeah, then the last game that was revealed was Silent Hill Ascension, which is being positioned to us as like a real-time interactive event, is what they say. And I guess that like the fans will control what's going on in it. And it's got a bunch of different collaborations. Like I'm seeing a Bad Robot Behavior, who did the Dead by Daylight games.
Yeah,
and
I think Dead by Daylight even had like some Silent Hill crossover.
Yeah,
stuff
it did.
too.
Yeah, Pyramid Head is absolutely in that game. Is Pyramid Head Silent Hill 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's another important thing to mention regarding the Silent Hill 2 remake is that Masahiro Ito and Akira Yamaoka are back.
Yeah.
So there is still some original talent involved,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's going to be like primarily Bloober. I don't think they're involved with the other two, at least not that they've said.
I don't think so. I feel like they would have said if they were, especially if they were like, yeah, we're gonna be part of this. But
yeah, I mean, Ascension. I don't know. I saw some people like compare it to something like Until Dawn, but I'm not sure if that's actually what it is.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like it based off.
It feels like something.
The description.
It feels like a Bandersnatch type of deal. Yeah, that Netflix movie.
Which is like, hey, maybe it'll be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, again, probably not for me. Maybe it could be fun. It could be my thing. Maybe probably not. I don't know. I probably won't follow it too closely. But I like keeping an open mind for things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Usually just where I leave it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a movie.
The movie. Yeah, which I didn't even know that. I think I knew that there was a first one, but I didn't even know that there was a second one. Now there's going to be a third one. Return to Silent Hill.
Ooh.
Ooh, we're going back.
Back to Silent Hill,
Back
baby.
to Silent Hill. Aren't you excited?
I am hyped.
No, yeah. I mean, it's a video game movie. It'll most likely be not great, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. It was an interesting event because it really seems like an earnest effort at like doing way more than I would have expected with
Oh, yeah.
with the franchise.
Definitely.
I mean, without getting into a larger argument about like franchises and like maybe it's better to leave something's dead, whatever. It's not dead. It's aliver than ever, baby.
Right.
We got Silent Hill for days.
Yeah, I mean, when they announced this thing, I was like, okay, it'll most likely just be a new something new, and then that's it, right?
Right, like the remake, and because I think the rumor was it was a remake and then like a new Silent Hill, which I don't even think was in this.
No, it wasn't. It was not here. That's what I was so curious about, because I was like, okay, yeah, here's the Bloober game. Where's that other game that they were talking about? Oh, it's not here at all.
So it's like maybe there's even more Silent Hill to come. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. I mean, obviously, like I guess from Konami's perspective, right? I mean, they're not really. I don't think they're taking too. Obviously, they have to fund the things, but
right.
It pretty much seems almost like a free for all, where it's like you can make a Silent Hill, and you can make a Silent Hill, and you can make a Silent Hill. Kind of just throwing whatever at the wall.
See what sticks.
And it's like, all right, sure. If the games are good, the games are good. You can have a big intellectual whatever discussion on, should you still make more Silent Hill games or just make original IP? Whatever, doesn't matter. We're here. We're making Silent Hill till the cows come home.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I mean, I might sound like a gatekeeper as someone who barely plays series,
right?
But whatever, I like.
No, I've definitely heard that sentiment. I've definitely heard that through the grapevines.
That's more of a statement where, I mean, that's always kind of been like a feeling of mine though, where it's like, you can crap on Konami all day long for years, but then at the same time you're begging them to make more Silent Hill, and it's if you hate Konami, why do you want them to make more?
Right.
I think that's kind of where that feeling stems from, and now here we are. They're going crazy with 1 million Silent Hill games.
And people are, this is not my Silent Hill.
Yeah, I mean, the reception actually seems pretty positive.
Yeah.
Which is even more shocking is that, I mean, it's hard to be really negative considering what they announced, I think.
Right.
You can be pessimistic and not totally, like, on board, but
I've seen a lot of
hard. Yeah. It's kind of hard to be like, oh, these are all going to be trash when most, Bloober, some people would say they're trash.
Yeah.
And, I'm not gonna say you're wrong because I don't care.
Right.
But like the you look at the talent behind Townfall and F, and it's like, yeah, you're probably gonna get something pretty good.
Could be good. Yeah.
Could be good.
I think.
I feel like more likely to be good than bad.
Yeah, I think people just see Neo Bard's best known as the studio developing Resident Evil Reverse, and I think you could get concerned.
Yeah,
I think that there's some room for concern there, but I think it's way too early. I mean, we just saw a CG trailer, right?
Yeah, well, let's see. Like, I'm looking at Neo Bards right now. I don't even know if they've really released a whole bunch of games or any games yet.
Reverse isn't even out yet, is it?
No, Reverse. I don't think. Well, I guess they developed the next generation versions of the last gen Resident Evil games.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, I'm looking at their games lineup. It looks like they're just kind of a outsourcing partner rather than an individual developer. So,
gotcha.
I mean, I guess Reverse counts as their first game, but this sounds like their first like
actual. Yeah. Right.
Maybe I thought I'm thinking Reverse is like a side mode before remake or something. I don't know if it's a standalone game.
It is. It is okay. Now. Yeah.
Yeah, then I just haven't been keeping up with it.
That game was supposed to drop with RE8.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's like a I think it's the like 4v4 or 4v1 asymmetrical maybe, where like you just play as Resident Evil characters, and yeah, that was supposed to
Yeah.
be out 2 years ago, 2.5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Well, it could be a case where it's like story's great, game is not, but that can be interesting and good
Hmm.
in its own right, So
Right.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really see a reason to be super pessimistic outside of maybe they'll botch the Silent Hill 2 remake, but
Yeah, we'll see.
again, that's a totally different beast from everything else they announced, right? So
Right.
yeah, it seemed like a winner of a show,
Yeah. No.
kind
Yeah.
of.
I think if you're a Silent Hill
Sure.
fan, there's obviously a lot to be excited for.
Yeah. I
So.
mean, or as just a fan of horror,
Oh yeah,
which
horror is booming right now, which is a whole other conversation.
yeah, which horror is not my bag
Right.
necessarily, but great, good for horror games.
Yeah, horror is killing it right now. But
Um,
yeah, I mean, other than that though, nothing really happened. I think we are gonna keep up this cadence of 2 weeks and then 1 week off, 2 weeks and then 1 week off. I think that works the best. But
yeah,
within that week off, I don't really think too much has happened.
no, I mean, there was an incident, I guess, with the Bayonetta voice actress, but
Right.
that's
Yeah.
already over,
Right.
and
Not gonna get into
that's
that.
that's just interpersonal like drama. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like the only thing shocking to me about that story is how massive it blew up.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, it was like once Schreier started talking about it.
Well, like even before that, like I think what kind of blew me away is like apparently like I got to the front page of TMZ over the weekend.
What?
Like, and I was like, what the hell?
TMZ?
TMZ. It was like their top story, like before like Jason Schreier came out.
Must have been a slow news week.
I guess so, but it just became like unavoidable, and then it kind of resolved itself, and
It is bad.
that's kind of as far as I want to go with it.
Yeah, it is bad, but yeah, I don't want to get in.
I don't know. It's not my business. I feel like
Right.
whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
that
happened. DualSense Edge came out or whatever, and it's $200. But yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah, I don't really think. I think the next Crash game is going to be revealed at the Game Awards. That's cool.
Yeah, it will be, which is exciting.
Very exciting.
I'm looking forward to that. I love Activision.
Yeah, the best.
They're a great company.
Yeah, they actually
Not
pay their voice actors. Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe. Maybe.
Um,
Just wait till that story comes out.
Yeah.
Then
it
we'll
would
see.
definitely be the worst story to come out of Activision
Yeah.
in recent memory.
Right. Yep.
Nothing bad happens with them.
Nothing ever. But yeah, I mean,
No, nothing.
Other than that, Overwatch 2 getting it's fine now. Overwatch 2 is fine now. The launch pretty much the launch woes are gone. But yeah, everything else seems to have ironed out. Nothing crazy going on in the industry right now. Neon White's great.
We love video games.
We love video games.